Yes. Jai Hind and hello everyone. Welcome back to Crack Grade B. This is Sunil Jangid and we shall discuss today we shall discuss paragraph jumbles. So share this session with all your friends and invite them. And again I'm saying कि kindly share this session with your friends, invite them all. And जो है, it's very important session today. It's very important session today as we are going to discuss parajumbles. This is the most significant part in all banking exams. So we shall discuss ki what are the methods, what are the approaches to cover or to learn paragraph jumbles, right? I will tell you different techniques regarding paragraph jumbles, right? And in the second lecture we shall discuss some of the examples of that. We shall take 5 to 6 lectures on paragraph jumbles and we shall cover all types of paragraph jumbles, or you can say we can cover all type of questions on particular that, right? So kindly share the session and please inform me, are audio and video clear? Is it okay? Are audio and video clear? Are you getting me? Are you listening me? Yes. Yes, guys. Just say hi, hello, or is everything okay? Yes. Kindly share the session. Today's session is going to be very important for all you students, right? As you know, key paragraph jumbles we are going to discuss. So what is paragraph jumbles? You know, in all banking exams, paragraph jumbles means you have different sentences and you have to put all the sentences in a proper sequence or adequate sequence. That is called paragraph jumbles. So let's discuss what is the definition of paragraph jumbles. Paragraph jumbles, as the name itself suggests, consist of sentences. Paragraph jumbles consist sentences not arranged in a logical sequence. A candidate has to choose the most logical sequence which would be the most appropriate for conveying the message of the passage, right? So mean to say, to convey the message of a passage in paragraph jumbles, you have different sentences which are not arranged in a sequence. So you have to do what? You have to just arrange all the sentences in a logical sequence so that it gives a proper sense or proper meaning, right? So this is paragraph jumbles. So let's move to the next slide. Just take an example. It is just something like an easy paragraph jumbles. So what could be the sequence in all these 5 sentences? He is saying he rang the doorbell. Ram's school bell rang at precisely 1:35 p.m. He rushed home as he was very excited about the present waiting for him at home. Next sentence, his mother opened the door. He reached home at 5 minutes past 2. So this is, you can say, easy type paragraph jumble. We shall cover this one. After that we shall discuss some of approaches or some of techniques, some of the methods. After that, in last of this class we shall cover some of the examples, some of good questions, you can say, and we shall also cover 4 to 5 lectures to complete different type of paragraph jumbles, right? So first sentence could be what? First sentence, if I say, this could be the first sentence, this could be the first sentence. Ram's school bell rang at precisely 1:35 p.m., right? And after that, second sentence could be what? Second sentence could be, he rushed home as he was very excited about the present waiting for him at home. Okay, this could be the second sentence. And after that, what is the result? He rushed home. After that, the result is he reached home at 5 minutes past 2. This could be the third sentence, right? After that, what could be the fourth sentence? This one is fourth one. This one is fourth one, right? He rung the doorbell. And last sentence could be what? Fifth sentence is what? His mother opened the door, right? This could be the last sentence. Okay, this is very easy one, right? So what are the techniques? What are the methods? Okay, what to look for when you solve paragraph jumbles? What to look? right? So the 9 types of structure, this is the most important thing. The 9 types of structures used in standard writing within paragraphs. There are certain standard structure. There are certain standard structures used for writing of paragraph. Okay, the following being the standard structure of paragraph. They are also usually the dominant ideas and clues to look for in various types of paragraph jumbles, questions, right? And what are these are? What are different standard structures? These are 9 different standard structures. You have to careful about these 9 methods or approaches, you can say, right? In every paragraph jumbles, there could be a hint, there could be, you can say, ki pair like these, right? First pair is what? Cause and effect. This one is the first pair, right? Two different sentence. In cause and effect structure, what you will have? You will have a sentence in which cause is being given and its effect will be in the next sentence, or effect will be there in one of all sentences, right? So this one is the cause and effect. Generic to specific, general to specific, you can say, general to specific or generic to specific, right? Third technique is contrast, the method of contrast, parallelism, idea explanation or elaboration, chronological, you know, time sequence. Chronological means time sequence, right? Huh. BCEAD. Okay, done. BCEAD. Okay, next one is chronological based on time dimension, right? Action sequence, you have to find action sequence. Idea transformation and idea reiteration. Idea reiteration means idea repetition. You can say idea reiteration means idea repetition, right? So these are 9 different, you can say, pair. You have to look in different sentences what you have, right? These are 9 methods. So let's elaborate all these 9 methods. First one is, as I said, cause and effect method, right? I will provide you example beside all the techniques like the cause and effect structure. I will also provide example for that. Okay, cause and effect structure is what? As the name itself suggests, the cause and effect paragraph consists of two part. It has the cause one, this one is the first cause one, and leading to the, and cause leads to what? Cause leads to effect, right? As I said, cause and effect is what? In this structure, you will get 2 different sentences. You will get 2 parts. In first part, cause is being given, and in the second one, it's this cause leads to the effect. So this one will be the pair. In a sentence, you will cause, and after cause leads to what? It leads to effect. So by using this method or by using this approach, you can find a pair easily in the sentence. So paragraph jumbles is all about finding the pair. What could be the second sentence after one? What could be the second after one? So you have to focus on that. You have to find a pair in particular that. And one pair I am going to tell you. One pair could be of what? It could be cause and effect pair, right? So you will get 2 different sentences. In one sentence, a cause is being given, and this cause leads to the effect, right? Okay. So let's move to the, okay, take an example. These are the sum of keywords like hence, because, causes, right? Leads to. These words, any of these words could be, you can say, keyword for that. Okay, let me elaborate this one. Okay, to show cause. To show cause, what words could be there? To show cause. These are conjunctions. To show cause, what, since, as, because, or for. All these conjunctions, these are conjunctions. These conjunctions depicts to cause, right? And to show result, to show result, we have different words. What are the words? Hence, so, that's why, or you can say therefore. Therefore, these four conjunctions denote to result. Why I'm telling you? Because if you get any of these conjunctions in a sentence, if you get any of these conjunctions, it means it is deadly sure that that particular sentence will be related to what? Cause. Okay, and if you get any of the conjunctions mentioned above, right, if you get any of the conjunctions from this list, like hence, so, that's why, therefore, if you get any of the conjunctions, it means the given sentence belongs to what? It belongs to result, or you can say it belongs to effect, right? It belongs to result or it belongs to effect. So these are the keywords. These are from cause, these conjunctions related to the cause, and these conjunctions related to the result or effect, you can say. So this is the pair of cause and effect, right? So let's move to the next, let's move to the example. First sentence, two different sentences you have. The sentence is, the governance of the Ashoka dynasty was among us the most efficient of its time. So this sentence denotes to what? It denotes to cause, and the governance of our Ashoka dynasty leads to what? It led to the elimination of crime and created a general feeling of security in the masses. So this one is the effect. So easily you can say, if this sentence is A or this sentence is D, you can say pair of AD will be there. Pair of AD will be there. If this sentence is A and this sentence is D, you can say in A part you have cause, and in D part you have what? You have effect. So this one, AD will be the pair, you can say. AD will be what? The pair of cause and effect, right? So let's move to the second one, second part, second technique, generic to specific, or you can say general to specific. General to specific, generic to specific. In this type, what you will have two different sentences, right? Two different sentences you will have. In one sentence, you will have general idea, and general idea leads to specific one, right? This is called generic or general to specific. So let's read the entire words. In this structure of paragraph, the author talks about a generic idea, general idea, and then backs it up with specific example of the same. In the first sentence you will get general idea, and in the second sentence you will get the specific example of this general idea, right? The flow of this type of paragraph is always from the general to specific, the idea to the example. In the first one, general, you will get idea, or in the second one you will get example of that, right? Example: economic justice demands a diminution. Diminution means decrement. Diminution means what? Decrease. Decrease, or you can say decrease or decrement, yes. If not a total abolition of the proportion of the national income which goes to the recipients of rent and interest. This is generic statement. In this generic statement we are talking about what? Economic justice. Economic justice we are talking about, right? But in the second one, but when the holders of railway shares are given government stock to replace their shares, they are given the prospect of an income in perpetuity equal to what they might reasonably expect to have derived from their shares. Specific example. So in the second one, in first one we are talking about general idea, economic justice, and in the second one we are talking about holders of railway shares. We are talking about, in the second one we are talking about holders. So this is called what? Generic statement to specific examples. In first sentence we talk about general things, and in the second one we just take an example of that. We just talk about any specific activity or specific movement, you can say, right, Jackishore Kumar? So this is called generic to specific. Okay, third point is what? Third is contrast. Contrast, you know what contrast means? Idea of opposite situation, idea of, you can say, idea of opposite situation or contrast, or one opposite to second one, one opposite to the another one, you can say. As the name itself suggests, this is based on the contrast or opposite of one idea against another, opposite of one idea against another. In such presentations of idea, there is transformation from one point of view to opposite point of view, right? From one point of view we just go to the opposite point of view. Typically both the points of views are presented with equal force, and the author doesn't give away his her biases towards either of opposite points of view. Make it sure you have different conjunctions like though, although, right, while, however, whereas, yet, but, still, nevertheless. These are the conjunctions. These are the conjunctions of what? Conjunctions of contrast. If you get any of these conjunctions, it means you are talking about situation in which you have two different sentences and both the sentences are in contrast to each other, right? In contrast against each other or one another, you can say. So this is called contrast, right? In this particular sentence, presentation of idea, there is transformation from one point of view. There is transformation from one point of view to the opposite point of view, right? Contrast. We shall discuss some example also. Initially I am telling you what could be the you can say methods or techniques will be there, and you can say what could be the approach there, right? Initially we are discussing some of the approaches, and in upcoming classes we shall take some examples. We can just we shall try to solve the paragraph jumbles by using these approaches, right? You can say that these are magical approaches, right? And with the help of these approaches you can solve any type of paragraph jumbles. You will see it in our upcoming classes. Okay, in the late 90s, Brian Lara strode the cricket field like a colossus, an all-conquering batsman who had few equals in the history of games, right? This one is the first sentence. However, you are getting a conjunction, however. Okay, let me show you. This is the conjunction however, and as we know, this conjunction however denotes to what? It denotes to contrast. So you have two different sentences, and second sentence is in contrast against the first one. This second is in contrast with the first one. Okay, in the first sentence, in late 90s, we are talking about Brian Lara, his achievement, what he did in late 90s, what he did, we are talking about that. And in the next sentence we are talking about contrast of it. However, his presence was not enough to inspire the West Indian teammates, resulting in one of the worst period of West Indian cricket, coinciding with Lara extraordinary artistry at the crease. Mean to say, in the first sentence he is saying ki West Indies had a best batsman named Brian Lara, and apart from that, West Indies just passed through a tough time at that period, or in late 90s. Though they had Brian Lara, but despite that they couldn't be able to do a lot. they couldn't be able to do a lot. So it means ki both the sentences are in opposite to each other, right? So this one is the example of contrast. Okay, let's take fourth step or fourth pair, you can say. This one is the pair of parallelism. Parallelism is what, guys? Parallelism means two equal structures, or you can say ki two equal sentences, you can say, which move parallel to each other. Parallelism in which, in such kind of writing, you across two parallel points of view, you cross two equal points of view, right, and presented the other. Normally you would find keywords likewise. This one is likewise, similarly, just as, or equally, or you can say in the same manner. If you get any of these keywords, likewise, similarly, just as, equally, in the same manner, any of these five words could be the you can say sign of parallelism, right? Any of these words could be the sign of parallelism, right? Okay, let's take an example. In the first sentence, the investigators directly assessed relationship between racial attitudes and values and argued in favor of linkages of two clusters of values, right? In the second one of these clusters, it is talking about. In the first sentence, we are talking about two clusters of values, In the second sentence, we are talking about one, and in the last sentence, the other cluster, means we are talking about second one. So both the sentences, second and third one, is the example of what? Parallelism. Second sentence and third sentence is the example of parallelism, because in the second sentence it is talking one of these clusters, one of these two clusters, and in the last one, the other clusters, it means we are talking about the second one. So last two sentences are solid examples of parallelism, and you can also get some of the keywords like likewise, similarly, just as, equally, or in the same manner. In the same manner what? In the same manner as one of these clusters did, the last one also did. The other cluster also, communalism, which emphasizes concern about community, and one of these clusters, individualism, corresponds to the Protestants' ethic values emphasized in discussion of symbolic racism, right? So this one is example of parallelism. And fifth point is what? Fifth point is idea explanation, idea elaboration, and idea completion. Okay, what is idea elaboration or explanation? One sentence will present an idea, and then it is either explained. In first point, we shall discuss one idea, and in the second sentence, we just explain it in detail. We just explain the first one in detail in the second, or we elaborated or completed in the subsequent sentence, right? So what is idea elaboration? What is idea explanation? You will have two different sentences. In the first sentence, we shall discuss about an idea, okay? We shall discuss about an idea in one sentence. And in the second sentence, we shall explain, we shall elaborate, we shall, you can say ki, we shall complete in the subsequent sentence. In the second sentence, we shall complete it. In the second sentence, we shall elaborate it, we shall explain it. So this is the example of idea elaboration or idea explanation. Just take an example. I was lucky. This one is an idea. This one is an idea. This one is a thought, you can say, right? This is a thought. And in the second sentence, the bus driver, how I was lucky. How I was lucky, the bus driver applied the brakes a meter or two away from my car. So this is idea explanation, this is idea elaboration, or you can say in the second, in part B, this is idea completion. This is idea completion. So you can also find a pair of idea explanation or idea elaboration whenever you are just working on paragraph jumbles. These are all types which you will find while you are solving paragraph jumbles. These are the key points, these are the keywords, or you can say these are the key points. Next point is what? Just take another example. The theory of legitimate use of force in human affairs where a government exists seem clear. Okay, so in the first sentence we are talking about legitimate use of force. It is talking about force, and in the second sentence we are just going to explain, we are just going to elaborate, or we are just going to complete word force. Force should only be used against those who use force against others, or those who will not respect the law where a common decision is necessary and a minority are oppressed to the action of the majority. I hope you are getting my point. Yes, are you getting my point? So this is the example of idea explanation, idea elaboration, or idea completion, you can say, right? Just take another example. Just take second type, chronological, right? Chronological is based on time dimension. In this sentence, or you can say chronological, you can say this one is also, this one is not chronological, this one was action sequence, that was action sequence. Chronological based on time dimension is what? Time is being mentioned in different sentences, and on the basis of chronology we shall try to just give them a sequence. We just try to give all the sentences a sequence based on time dimension. For example, it is talking about, we are talking about freedom fight in 1857. After that, freedom fight 1947, right? And in mid we are talking about an event of 1920 and 1942. So this one is what? 1857. If you are based on time dimension, we are just, you can say ki we are initially we talk about 1957, right? And after that the time of 1920, 1942, 1947, and right now we are into 2022. So this is the chronology, you can say. This is based on time dimension. So a pair of time dimension can also be there in different paragraph jumbles. You have to make it sure ki what is time dimension, and you have to just make the sentences in a proper sequence. Okay, so take an example. Sigmund Freud, the oldest child of second marriage of Jacob Freud, the Jewish owner of a small cloth mill in the little Australian town of Freiburg, was born on 6th May 1856. So in the first sentence we are talking about based on time dimension 1856, and in the next sentence we are talking in 1860. So you can say this second sentence follows first one. After first one it comes to what? 1860. Initially we talk about 1856. After that we go forward 1860. So this is the example of, you can say, chronology, time dimension, right? So let's move to the next one, action sequence. Action sequence means action sequences depict a set of actions logically connected to each other. So action sequence, let's take an example. Just move to the first one. This one is the first sentence. Okay, this is the, these are different sentences. So this could be the solid example of action sequence. So you have different action sequence. This is the first action, and after this what? Second. This one is the second sequence, second sentence, because this second sentence follows first one. This is the sequence of actions, right? This one is the third one. He reached home at 5 minutes past 2. After that we just go for he rung the doorbell, and last one is what? His mother opened the door. So this one is also an example of action sequence, right? In action sequence, one sentence follows another, right? Okay, let's move to the slide that was type 7th, most probably, yes. Okay, action sequence depict a set of actions logically connected to each other, right? The example used above, where Ram goes back home from school, would qualify as the typical action sequence. Not that in normal circumstances the action sequence will have a chronological sequence involved. This is also point. What is the point actually? Action sequence normally follow a chronological sequence, right? Chronological sequence involved. So you can say chronological based on time dimension, and action sequence could be similar in some extent. You can say both are similar, right? So let's move to the 8th one, idea transformation. Idea transformation, this is 8th one. This is 8th method. This is, you can say, 8th pair which you will find in different paragraph jumbles. In this presentation, a concept is introduced in the first sentence. Listen carefully. A concept is introduced in the first sentence, and the following sentence draws from that concept. Second sentence will be drawn from the first concept. In fact, it directly refers to it and present a new dimension associated with the concept. You know what happens in this type? You will have two different dimension, two different sentences. In first sentence, you will, a concept is introduced in the first sentence, right? And in the second sentence, it draws from the concept, in fact directly refers to it and presents a new dimension. In the second sentence, you will get a new dimension which is derived from the first concept, okay? Which is derived from the first concept, okay? Note that the key difference between this type and idea elaboration type is that the later elaborates and explain the idea introduces in the initial part of the sequence, while this type uses the idea present in the start of the sentence sequence and portrays a totally different dimension to it, okay? In idea transformation, you know, we talk about one concept, and in the second sentence we also talk about that particular concept, but that concept is totally different from that. You can say, if you talk about two different qualities of a person, if you talk about, then this example goes to idea transformation. In first sentence, if I talk about Mohan, if I talk about all the positive traits or all the positive points of Mohan, this one is all about Mohan, one concept this one is. And if in the second sentence, if I talk about all the negative qualities of Mohan, so both the sentences will now become example of idea transformation, right? But idea elaboration is what? Idea elaboration, in this method, we just talk about one idea and just we explain about in the second sentence. We just elaborate about it in the second sentence. We just complete the ideas or views about the first one in the second sentence. That was idea explanation, elaboration. And idea transformation is what? We just talk two different qualities of a person or thing, two different qualities with the help of two different ideas. That is idea transformation. Okay, let's consider the example. The component part referred are used to different contexts. Okay, let's move to the example. In this sense of humanity came into being in the course of evolutionary history, then it must have component parts, and they in turn must be identifiable, right? It is my conviction that we are beginning to identify these components, then we can see gradual emergence of humanness in our evolutionary history. Okay, in the first sentence we are talking about we are talking about course of evolutionary history, then it must have, we are talking about our evolutionary history, right? And we are saying k must be identifiable, right? But in the second sentence, in my conviction that we are beginning to identify these components, we are talking about components, right? We are to identify these components, that we can see the gradual emergence of humanness in our evolutionary history. Mean to say, we are talking about our evolutionary history. In both the sentences we are talking about evolutionary history, but in both the sentences we are talking about two different ideas, two different approaches in both the sentences. That is what, that is the example of idea transformation. Okay, let's move to the next one. Idea reiteration, idea repetition. Sentences sequences which use this structure of argumentation will start off by giving a point of view, followed by one or more sentences reiterating the fact. Consider the following example. Sachin was one of the best batsmen of his time, and after that we are talking about, we are again talking about what? We are again talking about Sachin. He was so good that his team hardly ever lost a match, right? In the first sentence we are talking about Sachin, and in the second sentence also we are just idea reiteration, we are doing idea reiteration, idea repetition. In the second sentence also we are talking about Sachin Tendulkar, and we are saying ki he was so good, he was so good that his team hardly ever lost a match. Next example, by definition, any model necessarily abstracts from and simplifies reality. Okay, any model necessarily abstracts, but the model of competitive equilibrium is travesty of reality, right? So we are talking about, we are modes of, model of, we are talking about any model, and in the second sentence also we are talking about the model of competitive equilibrium is a travesty of reality. So this is what idea reiteration, idea repetition, you can say. Mean to say, you will have two different sentences, and in both the sentences we are just repeating our ideas about a person or method or a model, or you can say thing. We just give our two different opinion or ideas about that particular thing, right? So this is idea repetition. Okay, next move, let's move to the next method, that is question answer. Question answer is what? As the name itself suggests, in such sentences sequence, the answer to a question follows the question. Answer follows to what? Answer follows to question, right? What was this dreadful little book? What was this dreadful little book? This one could be the first one, and after that answer follows the question. It name is in Italian is principe, in English the prince, right? So this one could be the second one. Answer follows the question, answer follows the question. Initially we just put questions, and in the in replacement of that we just get answer, right? So this is the question answer. So these are different methods, these are different 10 approaches, or you can say these are different pairs which you will have to find in different sentences or paragraph jumbles. So now we are just going to work on that. We are just going to work according to different 10 techniques, you can say, and we shall practice now, and we shall cover all types of paragraph jumbles, right? So let's take an example. Let's take an example. This is sentence before you, and you have to reply me now. Okay, what could be the proper sequence? What could be the answer? Yes. It's your turn now. It's your turn now. You have to reply what could be the proper sequence. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. The sentence is, a transplant from my younger brother, Philip, effectively gave me a second life, feeling that whatever years I now had ahead of me were a bonus. I initiated the exploration of the western shore of Lake Turkana. I was lucky. Following our first tentative, prospecting came remarkable finds, some of them technically stunning, some emotionally thrilling. The discoveries were both waiting for, as I shall recount. Yes. What could be the answer? What could be the proper sequence? Yes. CABED. 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 Yes. Very good. Very good. Jaikishore Kumar. CABED is the right sequence. So let's discuss ki how it could be option D. How could it be option D? So, I told you one of the approach, idea elaboration, idea explanation or idea elaboration, right? So in idea explanation is what? One idea is given. So what is this one? I was lucky. This one is idea. And what is the explanation of this idea could be what? The explanation of this idea is what? The transplant from my younger brother Philip effectively gave me a second life. This one is the idea explanation, or you can say idea completion, right? So initially we are getting CA. Okay, this one is second life, this is cause, and its effect is what? Its effect is feeling that whatever years I know had ahead of me were a bonus. I initiated the exploration of western shore of Lake Turkana. This one is what? This is effect. So in in AB you are getting what? In A and B we are getting cause and effect. This is cause and this is what? In option B, in part B, we are getting its effect. So again we are getting a sequence CAB, and it's, if you talk about ED, so this one is again idea elaboration. We are talking about discoveries. We are talking about discoveries. In part D we are talking about discoveries, and in part E we are again, we are just talking about explanation. We are talking about elaboration of discoveries is what? Following our first tentative prospecting came remarkable finds, some of them technically stunning, some emotionally thrilling. So in part D we are talking about discoveries. So again in part E and D we are getting a sequence, we are getting a pair of idea explanation. Yes or no? Again we are getting a pair of idea explanation. So what could be the right answer? CABED. Option D will be the right answer. Option D will be the right answer. I hope you are getting my point. Yes, are you getting my point, guys? So let's move to the next question. Let's move to the next question. This one is, what could be the sequence? Option A, ABDC, ABCD, and ACBD. And the last one is ADBC. Yes. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. What could be the sequence? What could be the appropriate sequence? Economists see the world as a machine, a very complicated one perhaps, but nevertheless a machine whose working can be understood by putting together carefully and meticulously its component parts, right? A lever pulled in a certain part of the machine with certain strength will have regular and predictable outcomes elsewhere in the machine. The behavior of the system as a whole can be deducted from a simple aggregation of these components. Jackishore Kumar is saying ABDC. ABDC. Jackishore, very good, brother. Option A will be the right answer. Option A will be the right answer. ABDC. Okay, let's talk about point A and B. Again, we are talking idea elaboration or idea explanation. We are using this approach, idea explanation. In the first sentence, economists see the world as a machine. This one is idea. This is our idea, right? And in the second sentence, in part B, a very complicated one perhaps, but nevertheless a machine. This is the, in the part B, we are talking about idea explanation, idea elaboration, or you can say idea completion, right? So what could be the sequence initially? A and B. A, B will be the right sequence. Okay, why option B is not the answer? Why option second option is not the answer? Because if you talk about D and C, in D and C we are talking about general, generic, general idea, and in C part we are talking about specific one. Mean to say, second pair you are going to find is what? General to specific. We are having two different pair in the sentence. We have two different pairs. One pair is of what? That is idea explanation, idea elaboration, and in the second pair we are getting a pair, or you can say uh, an approach of generic to specific, general to specific. How is it? It is general to specific. The behavior of the system, right? In the part D, we are talking about behavior of the system. We are talking about behavior of the system. This is general, you can say, generic to, you can say. But in C part, we are talking about a lever pulled. We are going to specific. Initially, we are talking about behavior of the system. This one is the general. And out of system, we are talking in C part, we are talking about a lever pulled in a certain part of the machine with certain strength will have regular and predictable outcomes elsewhere in the machine. So option DC, in DC we are finding generic to specific. This is the approach. Next pair you can see. That's why ABDC, AC will not be the answer. That's why just eliminate option C. AD cannot be there. AD, there is nothing pair going to be happen in ADBC. So that's why option what? Option A is the right answer. Option first part is the right answer. Okay, so let's move to next example. Okay, this one is the next example. First sentence you are getting, you have first sentence, you have last sentence, and between first and last you have different parts A, B, C, D. You have to just arrange all these different four sentences. Sentence A, B, C, D. You are getting first sentence, you are getting last, and you have to arrange different four sentences. Yes. and these are sequence. If you just want to get different options to answer the question, to answer the sequence of different paragraph jumbles, these are the options. What could be answer? A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, and B, C, D, A, C, B, D, A. Yes. Again, let's move to the sentence. Yes. Sachin. Hello, Sachin. So what could be the sequence? These are different options you have: A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, B, C, D, A, and C, B, D, A. What could be the answer? Out of these four different options, what could be the answer? Yes, Sachin, Jackie Shore, reply fast. Okay, let's move to the sentence. This is the first sentence, right? This is the first one, and this is the last one. And apart from first and last, you have different four options A, B, C, D, right? You have to arrange all the different four sentences. Okay, you know what could be the sequence? We are talking about idea transformation. We discussed a concept of idea transformation. And in idea transformation, what we do, we just talk about a different idea, right? And we talk two different ideas regarding to a particular thing or person in two different contexts, right? If you just talk an idea in two different contexts, that is the method, or that is the approach of idea transformation. So in B and A, in BA, we are talking about idea transformation. How it is idea transformation? But if this sense of humanity came into being as the course of evolutionary history, then it must have a component parts. So in part B, we are talking about component parts, and they in turn must be identifiable. But in the part A, again we are talking about components. Again we are talking about components, but in option A, we are talking about component parts, but in two different contexts we are talking here. In part A, it is my conviction that we are beginning to identify these components, that we can see gradual emergence of humanness in our evolutionary history. So components in both part B and A, we are talking about component parts, but in two different contexts we are talking. So this one is the example of idea transformation. This is the example of idea transformation. So we are getting a sequence BA. So we are getting a sequence BA, and out of these four options, do you getting anywhere a pair of BA? Are you getting? So we are getting BA in option B. So option B is the right answer. Option first, option third, and option fourth will not be the answer. So option B is the right answer. Option B is the right answer. So are you getting my point? Is it clear now? Yes. Is it clear now? Yes, guys. We shall also cover so many classes on paragraph jumbles, and we shall cover, as I said, we shall cover all type of paragraph jumbles. You will get so many classes on paragraph jumbles. So don't worry. This is the first class, right? This is the first class. In this class, I told you some of the techniques, some of the, you can say, methods or approaches to get a pair. I told you different 9 or 10 methods to find a pair, right? You have to apply these concepts on paragraph jumbles. And upcoming classes, In upcoming classes, we shall discuss, we shall practice these methods or approaches, and we solve several questions on paragraph jumbles. So it's enough from my side. It's enough for today. I just keep my finger close for you, right? And it's enough for today. Take care. Bye bye. We'll meet tomorrow at 5 p.m. Kindly share the session with all your friends, right, and relatives. Invite them to join the classes, and subscribe Crack Grade B if you haven't subscribed yet. So take care. Bye bye. Love you all. Thank you.